Welcome and thank you for joining us for the next installment in our Real People, Real Conversations video series. We are very fortunate today to be joined by Joann Mender from the South Carolina Department of Education. Joann, why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself?
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me on. My name is Joann Moton Mender, and I work at the Department of Education in the Office of Health and Nutrition, and mainly with the Summer Break Cafe, which is our South Carolina's summer food service program. I serve as the team lead for that program.
Outstanding. And we've been very fortunate to partner with you and working with that program and have got to see in person the impact and the effect that it has on our community. But for our viewers, why don't you let us know what's the purpose of the Summer Break Cafe and why is it so important to our communities?
Sure. It is a vitally important program. We are, as I stated, we are the summer food service program for South Carolina. We renamed our program Summer Break Cafe back in 2020. And so what we do is serve children during the summertime when they need meals the most. When they're in school, during the school year, they are receiving breakfast and lunch after school and sometimes snacks. But when school is out, many of those children who need the meals the most do not have access to the food. So the Summer Break Cafe serves as that stopgap to be able to feed the children during the summertime that needs those meals the most.
Absolutely. And we know that stable supply of nutritious options is incredibly important. But could you explain the significance of providing nutritional meals or nutritious meals to children both during the school year and also during the summer months and how those may differ a little?
Oh, sure. Well, as I said, during the school year, they are receiving meals. And most of the time, the children that, of course, that need the meals the most are the ones who are on a free or reduced lunch. And so we make sure that those same children that are receiving those meals during the school year are able to receive those meals also during the summertime at various locations throughout the state of South Carolina. The difference is, of course, again, they're in school during the school year and they're getting those meals during that academic time of the day. And then when they're out during the summer, again, they need those nutritious meals too. So we just make sure that those meals are available for them in the summertime.
That's awesome. That is really.
And I can say too that they also are able.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened. Okay, there was a blurb there. The meals that are actually served during the summertime is breakfast. They have access to breakfast at some sites. They have access to lunch. They have access to snacks or dinner at some of the various sites throughout the state.
Wow. Yeah, that is really impactful. And just, again, speaking from someone who's actually experienced it and seen the program in work, it really is incredibly impactful when you see these children being able to have access to these meals. So could you give us a little background on who it is that administers the program?
Sure. The way the program is done is the South Carolina Department of Education is the one who oversees the program in the state of South Carolina. So back in 2015 is when we acquired the program. It used to be actually housed at the Department of Social Services for many, many years. So starting in 2015, we started to actually administer the program. And I can just go on into how it works as well. The program, the way it works is the United States Department of Agriculture is the one that funds us and also gives us the regulations on how the program should work. So the United States Department of Agriculture gives us money, South Carolina Department of Education money, and we partner with sponsors throughout the state. And these sponsors can be private nonprofits. They could be school food authorities, also known as school districts. They could be governmental entities, colleges and universities. Nonprofit organizations are the ones that we can actually partner with. And the nonprofits have to have a 501c3 tax exempt status in order to be able to go into an agreement with us to be able to actually supply meals in the summertime. And what we do is we approve sponsors, and then the sponsors will then establish sites throughout that county that children can go to actually get a meal.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's been my experience that it's really important for these organizations who want to be sponsors to have sort of an internal structure and organization about them, because there is a lot that goes into it that folks don't really, be from the outside looking in, you don't really recognize. But there's procurement, you're having to send all of your information, all of your records have to be kept. So super beneficial if you're looking to sign up to be a sponsor, to make sure that you already have some sort of internal structure that's able to process that. So knowing that, who is eligible to participate in the program?
Well, the program is actually for anybody who's under the age of 18. And the sites are approved. Like I said, the sites are approved in various areas. So those sites are open and approved. Anybody under the age of 18 can actually receive a meal there. And then it also goes up to over 18 if it's a person that has a disability and they're enrolled in some kind of local educational kind of program.
Yeah. And so it seems like there was sort of a natural progression from DSS administering the program to the Department of Education administering the program. So just in your eyes, sort of where do you see the Summer Break Cafe now, and where do you see it, what do you see it becoming in the future?
Oh, I dream. I dream that every child that need a meal can be fed throughout the state of South Carolina. That we will have sponsors, enough sponsors in every county that will be able to have enough sites that will be easy for the children to access. Because what's going on now, we don't have as many sponsors as we need. And the sponsors, like we said, are the ones who goes into agreement with us. They're the ones who actually provide the meals, either by cooking the meals or contracting with someone who can prepare the meals. And of course, the meals are approved. The meal pattern is approved by USDA. So we would love to have a sponsor, more than one sponsor in the state. In the county, in each county, because again, we have to have the sponsors in order to be able to have the sites located. So where we are now is there are some counties like Williamsburg, Orangeburg, Lawrence, Newberry, and some others that does not have a sponsor that's actually located in their county. So what happens when that's not the case is you have some sponsors who may be in Columbia or Richland County who is trying to serve meals in another neighboring county, which really makes it hard for them because they got to transport the meals to try to get them there. So if we had at least 2 and maybe even 3, depending on the size of the county, sponsors there in that county, then we can have more sites and make it more accessible to the children within their neighborhood.
Yeah, because I've just from our experience with it, and we know that it's a burden on some of these sponsors to be able to reach some of the sites. I know that along the coast, we have folks from the low country are trying to help serve, Horry County and up above. And it's very taxing for them, like you said. So definitely, I know part of SC Thrive's hope with this is that we're able to help you guys recruit some more sites, recruit some more sponsors to sort of alleviate some of the burden on some of these folks who are really, really working hard. It is so impressive, and I can't stress this enough to the folks who may be tuning in. It's so impressive to go to one of these sponsor sites and see their processes for getting things put together and sent out. It is, they work incredibly hard for this.
They do.
And just to sort of share, one story on the impact of it that I've seen personally. We were down in Allendale at the Allendale Public Library, and we were doing a non-congregate site, which is where folks come in, pick up their meals, and take them with them. And there was one young woman who she was driving around that day, and she must have brought in 15 to 20 children herself, just going through and picking them up from their residence and bringing them in there. And it's like, you really see the impact that one person can make on the community, because she's ensuring that, up to 20 kids are getting, this stable supply of nutritious meals during the summer when they may not be available to them otherwise. It's just really impactful to me. And I know I've said impactful so many times, but
no worries.
See these kids picking up these meals. It truly is the only word I can think of to describe it. You're left with a different feeling when you leave one of those sites.
Absolutely.
It's really great to see all the community members come together to work for these children. It's such a great feeling. And I was wondering, one of the things I was most impressed with is how much fresh produce and how much fresh food is being included in these meals, which is so incredibly important, because the processed foods, a lot of folks have access to that, but it's the fresh produce that they don't. So could you talk to me a little bit about, how we work to include that?
Yes. As you stated, fresh fruits and vegetables are so much better. Of course, if you can't get them, then the other ones are fine too. But if you have fresh fruits and vegetables, it's so much better, so much more nutritious. And during the summertime, as you know, in South Carolina, there's plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables that are being grown. So we totally encourage our sponsors to get together with some of your local farmers or some of the local vendors in your area that you could actually get fresh fruits and vegetables from. I mean, some children have never, ever seen a real live green bean unless it was in a can, or some other things that are grown here, corn or whatever, unless it's in a can. So for them to be able to see actually where the food actually comes from, and to be able to see and taste the fresh fruits and vegetables, and then be able to compare what a difference it makes. Just a little side story for me. Collard greens is one of my favorite. Yeah. And so I was able to get some collard greens out of a garden that was grown from the ground. And my children, sometimes they eat it, but they mess over it a lot of times when I get them out of the store. But they thought that these greens were the best tasting greens they've ever had, and even got 2 and 3 servings. So it does make a difference when you're able to get those fresh fruits and vegetables, and the children are able to actually taste those. Yeah, and even further than that, to be able to go to a farm and to be able to see how those things are grown. And we even encourage them to, at some sites, to start gardens so the children can just see how food is grown, because we found out that if they grow the food, they're more inclined to try the food. So, so we totally push fresh fruits and vegetables, and farm to school and farm to summer during the summertime.
Yeah, and a few of the locations that we visited this past summer had their gardens going, and it was really impressive to see. I mean, everything from fruit, fresh produce, to they also had flowers growing. It was really amazing to see how interested the kids were, and like how invested they were in how the gardens were turning out. It was really neat to see. And I think a great point that you make is that sponsors can reach out to local vendors, local farmers, and that can alleviate some of the burden of having to go to procure some of these foods whenever you're doing a distribution site. So it's not as overwhelming for these folks, and they have, there are plenty of members of our community who are willing to help and are willing to participate. So along those lines, how can an individual or an organization get involved?
Well, we like to say that there is a seat at the summer break cafe table for everybody. So organizations that want to be a sponsor, they have to, as I stated before, have to be a 501c3, tax exempt by the IRS, in good standing, must be financially viable, because although the sponsor get reimbursed for meals that they serve, they have to serve the meals first and then be reimbursed. And sometimes there may be some expenses that might incur that's not covered by the Summer Break Cafe. So we need them to have funds available, and also have an administrative team that's working with them, because again, it's a federally funded program. And for those of you who know about those, there's some red tape that go along with it, and there's lots of paperwork. So you need to have a skilled staff that's available and able to actually manage the workload of that paperwork and such. So you need that. You need to be able to serve meals, either by cooking the meals yourself in a DHEC approved kitchen, or you can actually go into contract with the vendor that will prepare those meals, which of course we give you the meal pattern that must be followed. So you need to have that. You can always also go into agreement with your school district that may be able to prepare the meals for you. So we want you to know that that is a big piece of it, and it scares organizations sometimes, but there are people out there that you can partner with. And we are always encouraged for our folks to be able to go ahead and try to contract with someone, because then you don't have to worry about preparing the meals and fixing them and getting them out to the sites. The only thing you have to worry about is managing your sites. So we encourage folks to try to go in, in contract and agreement with either school district, or find a vendor that can do that for you. That's one way. And again, people think this is a huge undertaking. Now, I would not lead you wrong. It's a big learning curve, but we're there with you every step of the way. I mean, we give you training, and then we also give you technical assistance, and we just kind of walk you through the process and help you along the way. So it can be done, and we have many organizations that can attest that it can be done. The first year was a little hard, But they stuck with it, and it got easier and easier as time went on. And then, so now they're glad to be a part and just glad to see how much help that they are able to provide during the summertime to these children that needs the meals. So that's one way, a sponsor. But you might say, you know what, I can't do that. So then you could be a site. If there's a sponsor in that area, you could actually reach out to them and say, I want to have a site established. You know, sometimes sites are in libraries, they're at schools, they're at churches, they're at parks, that they're at any place really that children congregate. So you would reach out to a sponsor to say, you know, I want to be a site because I can't do all the other things and I want to be a site. So that's where the children would go to actually receive the meal. So that's another way you can actually participate. And then if you say, well, I don't want to be that either. So now you can help by volunteering to help out at some of the sites that are already established. You might be able to be a site supervisor. You might be able to provide some kind of activities at the site. You might be an organization that has transportation that can get some of the children to the sites. So there are different things that you can do. And then last but not least, you could actually do outreach and marketing and promote the program so that people are aware. Because believe it or not, as long as we've been around, there's still people who say, I've never heard of y'all before. Now, some of the reason might be because it's been called different things. Because some folks, as my age, and will say that I used to actually get these meals during the summertime, but it was called the lunch program. So they may know it, but know it by a different way. So, but we still need to get the word out. So that's another way to participate. So again, there is a way for you to participate some way, shape, or form to help us out with this program.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was fortunate enough to be able to attend one of those training sessions that you mentioned. And it was really impressive just to see the scope of the program, and that there was, I believe, a gentleman said he had been working with providing summer meals since the late 70s. Yeah. And then you've got folks in there who it's their first year. And it was one thing that really stuck out to me was the willingness for them to coordinate and to share ideas, share information, and the peer support that was offered for these folks who may be new to the program. Having those folks to lean on is really crucial. And it was really, it's inspiring to see the way that folks were willing to work together to help, help these new programs come in and be, offer the most resources that are available. So knowing that, sort of what it takes for each segment, what would the process for applying to be a member be like for us?
Well, if an organization felt like they want to actually apply and they felt like they have administrative capability, financial, stability for it, then what they would do is contact us at the Summer Break Cafe. And I'm sure we're going to give the website and the email address for you to do that. But you would contact us and let us know that you're interested. We will ask for a litany of information to actually verify that you are financially viable, that you are administratively stable, and that you actually you are running a year-round program in your area and not just want to do just the Summer Break Cafe. Because we look for organizations who are already, doing something. They already are established. They're already providing a service to their community. Yeah. So you would send that to us, and then if you are approved, you would go in contract and agreement with us. And it's a permanent agreement. You don't have to do this agreement over and over and over. As long as you're in good standing with us, and as long as everything's going well, you can continue to do the program until you decide you don't want to anymore. Or, again, if something happens that we have to terminate the agreement, which we don't want to, then you are in permanent agreement with us. And so we provide you training after that. And again, we provide you ongoing technical assistance so that you can be successful. And that's pretty much the process. I mean, then you would actually get sites to be able to serve the meals throughout your county. And then you would actually train those folks on how to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And we'll make sure to include the email address and the website in a screenshot after the interview here. And we'll also be including in the captioning that we provide for it. So everybody watching will be able to access that information if you're interested in joining and participating in the program. Just to give folks an idea of the scope and the size of what it is you're undertaking each year with this summer meal program, can you give us an idea of how many sponsors, sites, and how many meals were served in 2023?
We had about 43 sponsors last summer in 2023, and we had about 750 sites throughout the state of South Carolina. And I want to mention as well, we have another summer meals program that's called the Seamless Summer Option, which is strictly school. There are school food authorities that run these summer meals, and they are mainly located at sites throughout the state at schools. So we had some of those that actually operated too. We had 66 of those and 521 sites that were there that children can also go eat. And like I said, they are mainly at the schools. So that's why we're recruiting so heavily for the nonprofit organizations, because these other sites are normally at schools. And sometimes it's hard for children, if they're not going to school during the summertime, to actually get to those sites. So it's better to have those nonprofits who have those neighborhood sites established. But overall, for the Summer Break Cafe, we had about 43 sponsors.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Well, I know it's a program that we here at SC Thrive love, and we love participating with our partner agencies, Share Our Strength, No Kid Hungry, the South Carolina Department of Education. I mean, it's such so many folks are so willing to help. We have food coalitions, we have food banks. We have the University of South Carolina, Clemson pitches in, the YMCA. This is one that you can tell, you know, it's a program that's important because of how many people are willing to step up and do the work for it. And it's been my experience that it's nearly every community organization that we reach out to. So if there are organizations who are interested in learning more about it, again, we'll be providing the information at the end for you to participate, for you to join. Again, take it from me, you will not find more rewarding, more fulfilling work than doing this. Just seeing the folks all come together to make sure that children are being provided with all of the nutritional resources that they can. It really is fulfilling, and a great job that you guys have been doing. We're so very happy to continue to partner with you, and we look forward to working with you all in the future. And again, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for joining us today. We're very appreciative. We're just really happy that we could get out and spread the word about the Summer Break Cafe. And it's our goal to make sure that everyone will have heard about it, regardless of the name, within the next year. We're very excited about our participation. And again, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You all have been just a wonderful partner, and we just love working with you guys, and we love the fact that you all are committed to helping us to spread the word.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and be on the lookout for our next installment in our Real People, Real Conversations video series. Thank you again, Joann, and have a great day, everyone.
You too.